So I've come out for a day out at Wentworth today. Be back in Sheffield tomorrow. I've got some interesting videos to do. Just ensure this video's at HD 1080 before watching it, because it can take half an hour to an hour for YouTube to actually process the videos. So at the Holy Trinity Church at Wentworth. It's not the main church, but it's rather quaint. Now I did come here and take a load of pictures, but these videos don't half show things much better. And that's why I've moved from photography to vlogging. But do carry on watching the video to the end, because I'm actually going to go to Wentworth Hall. That's the main purpose of coming here. But it looks like a lot of the church is gone. I don't know the reason for it, unless there's a billboard saying why half of the church is missing. So what I'm going to do now is going to pop up to the main church in Wentworth, and I want to walk up the tree alley and give it you the best view for it, so I'll see you up there. So somewhere up there is a house which I'm going to go to in a bit, but what I want to take you to is down to this church, and what I want to do is give you a full view of how the family would have walked to the church from the house. You've got the garden centre somewhere here on the left. But there's this beautiful tree-lined route. What I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and zoom down it really quickly for you, and then I'll walk right down to the church and show it from the bottom. But it really gives you... So I've had quite a brisk 5-minute walk to get down to here, and you can just start to see the spire of the church coming into view. But same again, what I'll do is I'll quickly zoom down. And what I'll do is now walk down to the church and pick up right at the church. So we're now approaching the church, as you can see. It's very blackened, which I find strange because we're not really in an industrial area. Now the family who own the house, my understanding is they made the money from coal. And what the Labour government did after the war, the open cast mine right up to the front of the house. Absolutely criminal what they did. Now, I'm not a fan of the monarchy and people like that, but the beauty of the places should belong to us all. because at the end of the day it was paid with slave labour. Otherwise they'd never build things like this now. It's such a beautiful day, and there's a saying all over Wentworth. I'm all over Wentworth today. So I don't know if the spire's been blackened on purpose or whether that's black from pollution. But like I said, I find it strange because I can't imagine this being a very industrial area just here. So why is it black? Let's just see if I can zoom in on the rose window for you up there. Now people say that these were energy generating centres, and that particular type of window would have generated a frequency. Well, I'd like to see more proof from people on that. It's so beautiful, isn't it? I did notice something round here, which I'll just show people. Now some people call these old world buildings. If you look at that pointed tower, just trying to see where I am on my screen so you probably can see it, that round pointed tower. It's quite something, that. Some people say that's old world type buildings. Same again, give me real proof. I'm not really one for going round graveyards, but I'm sure we'd find some interesting things if I did walk around the graveyard, because I found that there are no graves before the 1700s, or gravestones, and when they do start appearing in the 1700s, they start with a J, then they move to an I. And if you go around most churches that have been around for 1,000 years, you'll see that clearly. Some of the modern churches, though, there's nothing like that in them at all. So I just want to get the front angle on the church. Same again, look at that. There's a name for those types of windows. I'm sure somebody will put me right on it. But I've never seen these tower type spires on churches normally. So if the old world buildings were true, this would really fit in with an old world building, which would say that it was built a lot earlier than what they're saying. So it's 11:32 at the moment. Looks like there's some village fete going off, or has gone off. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk back through the village, show you how beautiful the village is, and then hopefully I can find Wentworth Woodhouse Hall. Just before I take you through the village, I thought I'd just give you another view on that church. But can anybody else explain that blackened spire on the church? Doesn't make sense to me why it's so filthy. So before I walk you through the village, I just thought I'd give you another view of the church. I've not come to bombard people with facts. I've just come out for a relaxing day and taking the scenery. So if anybody else has got any factual information on any of this, please add it into the comments. It's so picturesque here. So it's called the Holy Trinity Parish Church, so even the old one as well. So as you can see, 17th of June, if you, tomorrow, catch my video in time, you can actually pop up. Views down there. I prefer walking into a lovely blue sky, so occasionally I'll just turn around and give you the view in the other direction as well. Look at those door decorations, they're gorgeous, aren't they? Now this is what I call England and what English villages should look like. So there must be a reason for all these door dressings. Is there some festival for it or whatever? They're absolutely gorgeous. I can actually report on totally positive things today. George and the Dragon wine shop there. Like I said, I prefer walking that way, but you'll get it both ways. There is free parking here for 3 hours, and there's a warning that there's cameras. I can't see any. I can imagine though it was a hard life. I mean, it's all quaint now, and these people, the middle class people living here, the people who originally built these houses, would have probably had tough jobs. Look, no, it's a cattery. I thought it was a boarding house. We're seeing these popping up more and more, aren't we? On the telephone box. Can anybody explain why? I'll not even mention it, but I think everybody gets the gist of it, don't they? And Dr. John Campbell's doing some fantastic videos on it. We did warn people from day one, and we were just crazy conspiracy theorists, so I'll leave it at that. Another beautiful. But find me somewhere better in England other than Cotswolds, which I've never been to. Or you can say Castleton. Lovely little tea room here. Restaurant just here. I parked just here in the car. It's too warm to cycle, and I'm not fit enough to cycle at the moment, that sort of distance. So we got Friar's Cottage and Friar's House here. Don't know if that's historically true, so I don't know the village well enough. Here we've got village car park, 3 hours free car parking. Like I said, I can't see any cameras. So this White Castle building is the Mechanics Institute. Village notice board if anybody's interested, and stop it and have a look what's going on. to admit to this. When I was at Rotherham College one lunchtime, one of the lads said, let's go to Rockingham Arms for a pint. So we came out from Rotherham in his car for a pint of beer. And that's the only time I've been in the Rockingham Arms. I'll give you a view back of the Rockingham Arms from this side. We've got the post office here. What I'll do is I'll pick up again in a bit when I get up to the garden centre. So there's a view back into Wentworth. Now we're coming to a junction, we're on Main Street. Notice the lane, Hague Lane, which I'm sure is probably after William Hague. Do you remember how he could drink us working class lot under table? So you've got Wentworth Garden Centre and coffee shop up there, and then a couple of signs here, village shops, pubs, sawmill and church, and then Wentworth Woodhouse, building yards and shops. So hopefully when I walk up here I'll find the hall. I've been here before, it's just remembering where they are. So what I'll do is, once I get up to the buildings up there, I'll restart the video. We'll just show you up there as well. So that takes you up to the garden centre. From what I remember, in the past it was nice. There's a nice coffee shop there, or tea shop. So we're now coming up to the buildings, but I just want to give you a view down here. Now tomorrow, when I do Burngreave, it's going to be a total opposite, and I really want to shock people tomorrow more than anything, really wake you up. So this is England. So I think we're actually approaching the house now, because I think these are the gatehouses. So we got another car park, 3 hours maximum. Now they're saying all over Wentworth, I think it came from all these monuments everywhere. And if I can find one of the monuments, I'll stop off and do that as well at the end. So we've got Needles, if you look on here, we've got Needles Eye, Hoover Stand, Rockingham Monument. And I'm pretty sure that's where Oliver Wentworth came from. So they were, you know, walking all over Wentworth to see him, but somebody else may correct me on that. Same again on this car park by the entranceway. It says 3 hours maximum stay, and there's cameras, but same again, I can't see cameras.
So it's like a...
I love my history, I love these beautiful buildings, but I don't think they should belong to these title families. That's my opinion. I think they should be a lot cheaper for the general public to get in and see them like they used to be. I think they've become too much money making rackets now, far too expensive. So what I'll do is I'll pick up when we get round to the stables round the corner. So this is all new since last time I came. I don't know what's going off round here. It's probably a car park, that. You can start to see the stable blocks just round there. I know 2 Prime Ministers came from this house. And the other thing about it, it's twice the length of Buckingham Palace. I think it's 600 metres. 2 football pitches, longest frontage of a European house. Makes Buckingham Palace look like a council house, and I've never been impressed by Buckingham Palace. But my views on the royalty is that they should strip them of all the titles, strip them of all their assets, and then give them all £1 million and tell them to go off and live their lives. And I think that would be a fair outcome for both sides. Because we all know Charles, World Economic Forum, pushing net zero. So we all know what his goal is. And I don't think they represent us. I don't think they gain the wealth fairly either. And like I said, strip them of all the titles, elect the Prime Minister for a 4-year term, and he can be the king or whatever, and give them all £1 million and tell them to go off and live their lives, because you're actually giving them the freedom. So there's a bit of a walk down here. I'm on a public footpath, so when I get further down I'll actually restart the video and get the house. In fact, that's a different view on the stables there. Well, I think it's the stables, but most people would be proud to have an house looking like that, wouldn't they? So as we're approaching the house, there's an advertisement here. I did look at the prices and they were pretty extortionate. It's been bought out by somebody who's developing it or doing it all up, but the prices are absolutely astronomical. And when I went to Chatsworth last time, I just went around the gardens. I got 20 quid on me and I parked, and I happened to meet somebody I knew who let me in for free around the gardens, and when I checked up later after the car park, I didn't actually have enough with 20 quid in my note just to go around the gardens of Chatsworth. Now that's ludicrous, that's absolute extortion, and it shouldn't be like that. We should all have that right to see these beautiful places, whether rich or poor. So there's another sign there. It's only pedestrian access to visit the hall. I'm going to carry on the public right away to get you the best view of the house from this side. Here's a side view. But it gives you so much better view on one of these cameras than taking photos. Same again, it's very black, isn't it, to say that where's the industry around here for it to be black? It's so beautiful around here. But just here where you can see this grass area in front of the house, this is where the Labour government, I think it was in spite, open cast mine right up to the front of the house, and I think they caused subsidence problems. It doesn't seem in that bad a shape, but at one bit I think they were trying to claim against the coal board for subsidence. I've just seen one of the actual follies or whatever, the monuments somewhere in the trees, and I've lost it again. But like I said, if I can find any of those, I'll stop off and add them at the end of the actual video. So right, this isn't the best angle yet. I'm going to go right up to the end of this bit and take a better angle on it, so I'll catch you up there. So at the moment I'm actually on a tarmac road, and then the actual footpath is down there. I can see one of the follies here, and let's see if I can actually zoom in on it okay. So it's actually on the map somewhere, so you'll be able to see exactly what that folly is. Right, let's just have another zoom right in on it. It's quite some zoom on this camera. Now it's actually a Friday today, and you can see the amount of traffic around the village and that. I can imagine it could get quite horrendous at weekends. So I can hardly see a thing on the screen, but I'm hoping that I get a full thing of the house. So like I said, it's 600 metres long, longest frontage of a house in Europe, twice the size of Buckingham Palace, 600 metres, 2 football pitches, and there's sort of disputes on how many rooms there are in the house. Different people say different numbers. I think it's something like, is it 5-mile walk to get around the house? I mean, that's just extortionate wealth, isn't it? Does anybody else, is it just me that thinks the wealth was gained unfairly? But I've zoomed it up. Well, in fact, I can just zoom in a bit better there, I think. There's some writing on that actual building frontage. So that's it, that's just a quick tour around Wentworth House, churches and the village, and if I actually find anything else it'll be on the end of this video. So it looks like I found another folly. Absolutely love these. Imagine living in that. So I don't know what the purpose of that was. Lovely garden. So perfect. Now I'd be quite happy with that. I could do with a garage on it though, I think. So as long as it's got a garage, I'd be quite happy with it. So I said if I could find any more Follies monuments, I'll show you, and there's one right here. So I've had a walk up a little bit from the house, and there's some more buildings I'm going to show you as well. But there, that's one of the Follies. I think that's 2 out of the 3 Follies, if I'm right. And then just down here we've got North Lodge. One thing I didn't mention, that I think it might have been Lady Mabel, but who gave the house to Rotherham Borough or Rotherham Council, and it became Lady Mabel's College, where it was an education centre, and then Rotherham just allowed it to not do anything and sold it on. I think that probably was a very, very unfair decision by Rotherham. They should have kept hold of it, because somebody else got hold of it, and then it's been now got hold of by somebody else. I'll just show you another angle on this a bit further up. So you can see even more outbuildings, which I believe probably belong to the hall. There's another one up here as well, you get a different angle on that. Why does one family amass so much wealth? That's the question. So that's completely the video over now. I think I've got everything I can get today. See you in Sheffield.